The Point is an animated feature film from 1971. This is directed by Fred Wolf, and it's written by Harry Nilsson, Carol Beers, Norm Lenzer, and various others, with a voice cast including Ringo Starr, Paul Frees, Dustin Hoffman, Alan Thicke, and that depends on the version you're watching. Apparently the first telecast was narrated by Dustin Hoffman, the third was by Alan Thicke, and the home video release is Ringo Starr. I'm not entirely sure why there was a change. If anybody has that information, please feel free to share. And there are some things about this that I like. There are some things that I really didn't like. And in general, I can sum up by saying I didn't really enjoy it. I think maybe for very young children it might be okay, but I personally didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. But that being said, it has a very, very impressive 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb across a very reasonable 3.3 thousand reviews and ratings. So I didn't love it, but maybe it's worth watching. Everything in the land of Point has a point, a physical point, except for Oblio, who is born with a very round head, and he is eventually banished and goes on a journey of self-discovery. And it's all about being different in a world where everybody else is the same and you don't seem to fit in, whether that's physically or otherwise. And there's quite a some of the dialogue is very good. There's a bit very early on when Oblio was born where the narration says he had no point at all. Obviously the double meaning there that he doesn't have a physical point, but also maybe because he's different to everybody else, they don't think he has any value or any worth, which of course is not anything anybody ever wants to hear about themselves. And as a story, I think it's a good concept. I think it's also quite a straightforward concept. I think particularly for younger children to really show how he is different. It's very easy to see. The rest of the characters all have points. Oblio doesn't. It's a very obvious difference. And I think that part of it, or the messages, I guess, they're told in a way that's reasonable. It's not engaging, but at the same time, I didn't love it. I think the first half, strong introduction, Oblio was born, really, really great start. But then the rest of the first half, roughly, was just not very good. The second half was a lot better. I found it to be a lot more creative. We meet some really fun characters in the second half. It has a lovely colour palette. I guess the whole film has a really nice colour palette. That being said, I didn't love the animation style. Even for the 70s, it's very, very rough. And yeah, there is a kind of charm to it, and I don't hate it. It is watchable. But there were times when some bits of the animation were better than other aspects. So I don't love the animation, but I certainly wouldn't say it's badly animated. And it is generally consistent in its style, but it's not my personal preference. We do have some really great music. The narration is really pleasant to listen to. The voice acting, very, very good. So for me, as a one-time watch, it was okay. Second half was better than the first half. I did like the concept. I guess the story was reasonably well executed, but it was more engaging at times than in others. And maybe as background company, it's a good one to watch. For younger viewers, I think it does get the message across in a way that's not too bad. I wouldn't be watching it again. But that being said, The Point isn't terrible, and if it appeals, then maybe it's worth watching.